Excuse me, Karen. Julie is attempting to join. You should find her in the queue.
Good afternoon. I'm Leslie Frane, Executive Director of the Service Employees. I'm Leslie Frane, the Executive Vice President of the Service Employees International Union, SEIU. I'm really excited that we're bringing workers together today through this live stream to have a conversation about the realities of nursing home work. We have a unique opportunity to talk with CMS Administrator Chiquita Brooks-Lazur. She's the chief government official responsible for overseeing how nursing homes are financed and regulated in this country. But first, for those who would prefer to listen to this roundtable in Spanish, there are instructions and a link in the chat to access live interpretation. We'll hear from 4 SEIU member leaders who will share their own experiences as nursing home workers. But they also speak on behalf of 160,000 nursing home members of SEIU all across the country. We'll hear from Tamara Blue from Michigan, from Julie Martinez from New York, from Barbara Coleman from Pennsylvania, and from Adelina Ramos from Rhode Island. As we enter the 3rd year of the COVID pandemic, I think it's worth taking a moment to think back to where we were in February of 2020. That's when we first heard that the virus had taken hold in a nursing home in Washington state. Few of us imagined the devastation and the loss that followed so quickly after that. We are now approaching 1 million lives lost due to COVID in the United States. More than 200,000 of those lost lives were nursing home residents and the workers who cared for them. They were our grandparents, our parents, our coworkers, our friends. Seemingly overnight, short staffing, always a chronic problem in nursing homes, reached truly critical proportions. And with bans on family visits, nursing home workers became the sole emotional support for residents in most facilities. Nursing home workers have been pillars of courage and compassion throughout the pandemic. They've also stepped up to demand change, advocating for themselves, their families, their communities, and as always, for the residents that they love. And I'd like to take just a minute to show a short video about how nursing home workers across the country are putting their advocacy into action.
This is about us, the people who are working to keep this country safe.
Before this pandemic, we were short-staffed, but now it's like it got even worse. Because nobody wants to come to work in a pandemic, especially with the low wages that we make.
Why do you do the job you do?
Because I love what I do. I love taking care of people. I love being a voice for my residents who can't speak for themselves. We're like the only family that they have.
But what you do in a facility like the one you're in is critical. And you deserve to be paid better than you're being paid now.
We have a pandemic a long time ago. This is not new. Pandemic is not new to us. When their pandemic came, we didn't stop working, we showed up. We could not do patient care from home, so we showed up. They need to show up for us by paying us a livable wage.
COVID-19 did nothing but unveil and take the mask off of what was already there.
We are constantly working to our staff.
They're working a lot of doubles because there's not a whole lot of people that want to do this job.
You just give people hope. It really matters so much.
As we emerge from this pandemic, we cannot, we shall not, and we will not go back to how things used to be.
I'm struck by the powerful closing words in the video. As we emerge from this pandemic, we cannot, we shall not, and we will not go back to how things used to be. Fortunately, for the first time in a long time, I have real hope that change is possible across the continuum of long-term care. Home care is a critical piece of that solution. Everyone who needs care should be able to get it in the setting that they prefer. We can't fix the long-term care system without a major investment in home care, and that means ensuring that a legislative package that reflects the president's vision for good union home care jobs reaches his desk. And when it comes to nursing homes, President Biden's State of the Union initiative has the potential to be truly game-changing. We are especially encouraged by the president's commitment to address the impact of decades of short staffing, inadequate enforcement of quality standards, irresponsible corporate practices by many nursing home operators, and wages so low that the majority Black and brown women who work in nursing homes live in poverty. And increasingly, the jobs are simply impossible to fill. I'm so pleased that Chiquita Brooks-Lazur, the administrator of the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, is here with us today. Among her many, many responsibilities is overseeing Medicare and Medicaid, the programs that pay for most of the care that seniors and people with disabilities receive at home and in nursing homes. Thank you so much, Administrator Brooks-Lazur, for joining us today. We're looking forward to hearing your opening thoughts, and I'm sure you'll also have more to say when we hear from the four workers.
Thank you, Leslie. And I so appreciate your comments as well as the video, which really, I think, captures very well my own thoughts about how much nursing home workers have been on the front lines during this pandemic, but that these issues are not new. And I was sharing with the team that one of the first issues I worked on when I first came to DC and started in the government was on nursing home staffing in 1999. It's been an issue so long standing, are making sure that people who are residing in nursing homes have the care that they need. But as really was said so well by workers on the video, this is not a new issue through the pandemic. I do want to say, though, yesterday we celebrated with the former president and the current president the anniversary of the Affordable Care Act, and how I often think about how that legislation was born out of an incredibly difficult time. It was born out of what we call now the Great Recession. And I think that we are in a similar moment now, that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a different level of awareness about what it means to our country when we do not have adequate health care, when we do not have adequate services to address a pandemic, and how much we need to do to make sure that we address these issues as a country. And I think that's why there is so much focus from the president down to me on making sure that we are doing everything that we can to ensure nursing home safety for residents as well as for all of the people that serve the residents, which of course are so many of you. And again, just want to thank you for your service really to America during this incredibly difficult time where some people had the luxury to be at home and to isolate, but where you did not, where you were right there in running into the fire when others had luxuries where they were not there. So I thank you for taking care of our country's elderly, our people with disability, our loved ones. I'll just be hopefully very brief just to say, because I really want to hear from you all. We heard leading up to the announcement that we made along with around the State of the Union really was informed by what we were hearing from CNAs, from nursing home residents themselves, from of what was happening. And we want to make sure that as we move forward with reforms, that we are incorporating this perspective of those with lived experience, including the people that actually care for the people we're talking about. And so I will just say that as we've talked about and outlined in the fact sheets, we are really focused on minimum staffing requirements, certainly for residents, but in part, but also for workers to ensure there are opportunities for career advancement. We're really focused on making sure we're transparent so that there's transparency in nursing home ownership, and so that residents can really escalate issues as they happen, and also really rethinking how we approach nursing homes that are not meeting the standards that we want them to meet, and really trying to intervene sooner into situations and then making sure that we're not seeing repeat offenders. And so I'll stop there with just that brief overview. I may be quiet as we listen, mostly because I want to make sure that I'm hearing from all of you. But know that every time I sit down to meet with people, it is my intention and our mission at CMS to incorporate what we're hearing into our policy making. So thank you in advance for your comments.
Thank you so much, Administrator Brooks-Lazur, and I couldn't agree with you more about the importance of the anniversary of the Affordable Care Act. I would note that it is because of the ACA that many long-term care workers have health coverage for the first time in their lives and for their families and the first time in their lives, given that far too often long-term care jobs don't carry with them affordable health benefits. So the ACA has been a game changer. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the 4 SEIU members we have with us to share their own experience. I'm starting with Tamara Blue. Tamara works both as a certified nurse's aide in a nursing home and as a home care worker, and she is a member leader of SEIU in Detroit, Michigan. Tamara.
Good afternoon. My name is Tamara Blue. I am a proud union member again with SEIU Healthcare Michigan. I am a CNA here in the city of Detroit. I have been in the healthcare field for now a little over 30 years. People do not realize how demanding this job is and how much skill and compassion it takes for taking care of elderly and our people with disability. Nor do they take nursing home workers who are mostly women of color for granted. I work the midnight shift, and it's a hustle and bustle sometimes, running in and out of residents' rooms just to provide care. On a good night, I have 16 residents. On a not so good night, I can have anywhere from 21 to 32 residents. Now, nursing home workers have been short-staffed and working overworked and working in unsafe conditions well before COVID. And now that COVID is here, we're short of staff and working in worse conditions. Being short-staffed does not only take a toll on us and our bodies, but it takes a toll on the people who we care for. CNAs are the first line of defense. We are the eyes and the ears for the doctors. And when residents are not properly turned, their skin begins to break down. They get pressure sores, which are bed sores. Sometimes when we don't have enough staff, we notice behavior changes, which could be anywhere from a UTI, just being dehydrated, or blood pressure is maybe too high or too low. But if we're able to catch this, maybe we can save them from a trip to the hospital or these problems turning into a critical matter. Residents did not only depend on us for physical support, but they did depend on us for emotional support. Many of our residents are at the end stage of life, and they just need someone to care for them, someone to sit and hold their hands. And when you are the only person on the floor and you're dealing with 30 or sometimes 40 people on the floor, and it's only 2 CNAs on the floor, you don't get a chance to give them the care that they so need at this time. Our residents and our staff are being shortchanged. When we are overwhelmed, a lot of things slip through the cracks, and people don't feel the love that they need to feel. To provide quality care, we must take care of caregivers with living wages, better training, and a union voice so we can advocate for our residents. We give our lives, we give our bodies, we give our hearts for these jobs. But when we get ready to retire, we have nothing to show for it. People are leaving this field now just to either go to McDonald's, because now the restaurants are paying more than what they're paying us to take care of humans. After 2 years of COVID, people are more burnt out and more exhausted than ever. We need a real change. Safe staffing, better pay, more training. Owners must be held accountable for how they treat the residents and the staff. This is urgent. The population is only getting older, And at some point in our lives, all of us will need somebody to take care of us. And I would hate for us to have to go through some of the things that our residents are living now on a daily basis. We should be able to count on safe, quality care and know that the people who are providing care are respected and paid fairly with good training and benefits, and also have a seat at the table. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tamara. I'm sure that hundreds of thousands of nursing home workers across the country would empathize with and agree with everything that you said. Administrator Brooks-Lazur, would you rather ask questions now, or would you rather wait till we hear from all of the workers? What's your preference?
Why don't we wait till we hear from everyone?
Great, thank you very much. Then next we'll hear from Julie Martinez. Julie is an LPN in Erie County in Western New York. Through her union, she has led in the legislative fight in New York to win better staffing standards and higher wages for nursing home workers. Julie?
Hi, my name is Julie. I'm a nurse here, LPN, licensed practical nurse here in upstate New York. I've been a nurse for 15 years now. Prior to that, I was a CNA, certified nursing assistant. I loved being a certified nursing assistant. I loved the hands-on care with my residents, the one-on-one, being able to care for them properly, listen to their stories prior to them coming to the nursing homes, and they become family to you. Like the prior worker said, they do become family to you, and you draw a bond with them. And during COVID, these past 2 years, it just ripped the Band-Aid right off of what all of us healthcare workers have always known. The short staffing, the 2 CNAs to 40 residents, the 1 nurse to 40 plus residents, made me think of when I first graduated nursing school. I was a GPN, first day on the job, supposed to be orienting, and the person who was to train me called in. So the keys were handed to me and on a rehab unit, and it was do or die. And I was so proud of myself because I was done with that mad pass by 11:30 a.m., starting to roll right into the afternoon med pass. But I was so proud of myself. And that taught me as a nurse, don't be scared of anything. So when I see my CNAs struggling with no staff, 1 aide, and myself for 35 to 40 people, and you have to keep your composure to not allow these people to see that you're dying inside, not only for yourself, but for them, because they deserve better. They are our most vulnerable population. Their last days are going to be spent with us. I think of the countless times you're there holding someone's hand as they're taking their last breaths. The families can't be there, and you're the last face that they're seeing. And you're hoping that these last months that they spent with you, or last years that they've spent with you, are quality, and that they're happy, and you've tried to make them as happy and comfortable as you can. But with the short staffing, especially during COVID, it breaks your heart to see the things that happened and the short staffing, and how my coworkers complain about the no pay and the low pay rather, I'm sorry. And speaking to these ladies from the different states, you get lost and you get in your own little bubble. You think you're in your own little world, your own little state, your own little county. And you realize it is nationwide, that there is short staffing. They could never pay us as healthcare workers what we deserve. They need to start. At least, I think of the politicians, how much are they getting paid? To get paid to really do not what they say that they're going to do. We do what we say that we're going to do. We say we're going to love and respect and take care of your loved ones, your family members, and we do it through thick and thin, day shift, evening shift, night shift. We are there with your loved ones, making sure they're comforted, loved, changed, clothed. And when you have short staff, some of these things they take a long time to happen. I know I would not like to lay around in my own feces and urine. Why would anyone else for hours? They deserve better. They deserve it. They deserve our respect and our love. They deserve so much better. They helped build this country. They made pathways for so many of us. They deserve to come into these nursing homes and have the time and our energy to take care of them. And the family members should be able to know that they're at work or they're at home, knowing that their loved ones are being taken care of properly and not have to worry about am I going to get that call? And my family members going to call me and tell me that they're not being taken care of? We need more workers. We need better pay.
Thank you so much, Julie. I want to just sort of echo Julie's emphasis on the fact that it takes a team to do this work, and that it is nurses like Julie, it is nurses aides like Tamara, it's dietary workers, it's housekeepers, it's maintenance staff, it's everybody together that's necessary to give the quality care that, as Julie reminds us, the residents of our nursing homes, each and every one of them, truly deserve. Next, we're going to hear from Barbara Coleman, who has worked as a CNA at a nursing home in Scranton, Pennsylvania for the past 6 years. She is a leader in her union chapter, a member political organizer, and an active SEIU Healthcare Pennsylvania, a member of the AFRAM caucus. So Barbara.
Hello. Hi, my name is Barbara Coleman. I'm a proud member of SEIU Healthcare Pennsylvania. When I'm not caring for my mother in New York, I'm taking care of my second family. They are the residents at the nursing home that I work in Lackawanna County. I've been a CNA, a certified nurse's assistant, for over 10 years. I entered this field because I'm good at advocating for seniors. My job is rewarding, but it's also draining, especially during the pandemic. For the first 10 months, we kept COVID out of our building, but later we lost a lot of our staff and residents due to the pandemic. When you're short staffed, it trickles down to the residents. Many times, CNAs come home from work worried about whether or not residents got all the needs they have for the day. Right now, it feels like I'm drowning, but I keep my hands up just enough to keep my residents afloat. However, what happens when there's no more me? If you worked hard all your life, you shouldn't have to be forced to lose your dignity at a nursing home. My second family keeps me in this industry. They deserve better. I'm also standing with my union family to fight for them. In addition to fighting to improve national standards, we're currently urging Pennsylvania lawmakers to pass a safe staffing bill. Under current state laws, nursing home residents are only allotted 2.7 hours of care every 24 hours. These standards haven't changed in over 25 years. When you consider that a CNA works 8 hours but provides care to 16 or more residents in a shift, the math don't add up well. The safe staffing bill would at least add 2 more hours of care to every nursing home resident in our state. Passing this bill will start to improve the level of care we provide to seniors and people with disabilities. But we can't stop there. National staffing standards are needed, regardless of where you live or work. I'm lucky that I have the strength of being united with my co-workers and the union to advocate for better jobs and better care, but many CNAs aren't so lucky. More has to be done to change our industry, including making it easier for us to join unions. First of all, we must invest in long-term care facilities and hold the owners more accountable. Secondly, we have to invest in the workers. who keep our nursing homes running. CNAs should be treated like a career in the healthcare field, not a job. We should make livable wages, have access to more training and benefits. We should also be respected and valued because our work makes all other work possible. Lastly, nursing homes shouldn't feel like a prison for those who live in them. Our residents should be able to go out and still be a part of the community, even if it's only to a trip to get a haircut or go to the mall with a loved one. That's the quality of life they deserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Barbara's comments remind us that if we're going to solve the staffing crisis, we really need to do two things, and we have to do both in order to make progress. One is we have to establish national standards. We've been able to make progress, as Barbara references, in certain states, but nursing home residents in every state deserve the quality care that only comes with sufficient staffing. But it's not enough to set requirements. We also have to alter reimbursement rates and tie those reimbursement rates to wages, because if we don't raise wages, then nursing homes are not going to be able to fill the position. So it's two halves of the coin. It's higher requirements, but it's also higher wages so that fulfilling those requirements is possible. So thank you, Barbara, for lifting up both halves of that coin. And our final speaker is Adelina Ramos, who's been a nursing home worker for 11 years and currently works with Alzheimer's patients at a 160-bed nursing home in Greenville, Rhode Island. And she is also a very active leader in our union. So Adelina.
Hi, my name is Adelina Ramos, and I'm a CNA at nursing home in Greenville, Rhode Island, and I'm proud at SEIU 1199. Nursing homes exist to help the most vulnerable people in our communities. When people can no longer live independently in their homes, they come to us. Sometimes we're the only family and friends that they have. At my facility, I work with Alzheimer's patients. To be trusted to care for them is a great privilege and honor. But over the past 2 years, my days have been filled with fear and sadness. When the pandemic hit, it was horrifying. We confronted management to let them know that we didn't have enough PPE or enough training to keep our residents safe. We were extremely short-staffed too. We begged management for more staff on each shift, but they said they couldn't find anyone. Our residents and staff kept getting sick and dying. When COVID first hit, we lost over 20 residents in just over a month, and a CNA died too. I wish I could tell you that things have gotten better in the past year after we fought so hard to change things in 2020, but they haven't. Things have gotten worse. In 2021, we were even more short-staffed than we were before. But because we're so short-staffed, we can't give our residents the attention and dignity they deserve in their most difficult moments. One of my worst days at work was when one of my residents was dying and wanted me to sit and hold her hand. But I couldn't stay because I had 20 plus other residents who also needed me. How do you choose between someone who is dying and someone who has been sitting in a soiled bed for hours? Or someone who's dying and someone who haven't eaten or had water in hours and is screaming for help? When Rhode Island governor signed a safe staffing bill into a law, we had hope, but there weren't enough available CNAs to fill the ratios the law established. There wasn't enough funding to hire new staff and raise wages to actually get the staff the law required. We were back to square one. This job is stressful already, and we have felt so disposable for so long. People just can't take anymore, so they have to go find work where they pay better. They go somewhere where they don't have to face debt every day. When I started working at a nursing home, I understood I would have residents pass away. In their final moments, our job is to make sure they're comfortable, cared for, and surrounded by loved ones. It's just part of our job. Some of us have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to meet our basic needs. I've been working doubles almost every day because there isn't anyone else to fill the shift. It's exhausting and we deserve more. I'm lucky that I have the support of our union because it does matter, because when we need help and we call our union, and then our union is there to back us up for the help that we need. Our government has the power to take actions and raise the standards and make nursing home jobs good, union jobs, and livable wage and resource we need. There needs to be accountable for nursing home owners and use resource responsible and invest in staff and residents. Instead of our CEOs use the money for themselves. Our residents deserve so much better than what we able to provide now. We have to so few staff and resource. Thank you.
Thank you, Adelina. I'm so sorry for the losses that you've experienced, like so many nursing home workers during the pandemic. And I'm grateful for the way in which you reinforce the need to improve the quality of jobs so that people want to work in nursing homes, so that we can couple that with higher staffing requirements and really begin to address the needs of the residents that we take care of. And I would also just say before I turn it over to Administrator Brooks-Lazur, that we appreciate that Medicaid as a program is largely administered at the state level, and look forward to working with you to figure out how we can work together at the federal level to do everything possible to ensure that increased reimbursement rates actually go to improve job quality, because that really is a prerequisite to creating the kind of change that these 4 nursing home workers have underscored the need for. And with that, let me turn it to you, Administrator Brooks-Lazur.
Thank you so much. And thank all 4 of you for sharing your experiences, and very much appreciate that sharing of your own experience is a gift. And I appreciate you sharing what you've experienced. And as Leslie said, so sorry to hear about the losses that you've experienced. I had a couple of questions, and maybe I'll throw them out, and anyone who wants to answer them, feel free to. I heard a little bit about this, but one of the things we're certainly grappling with is this question about the pipeline of how do we get, as we talk about staffing, more people who are interested in working in nursing homes. And so if you have other additional comments that you'd like to make about what would be meaningful recognition for your experience, and what opportunities for advance, what does it look like to you? So especially as we think about how do we help states, to your last point, Leslie, about tying reimbursement to improvements, what does that look like? Would love to hear additional thoughts. Would also like to hear about your own experiences about how you became CNAs and nurses, and you touched a little bit on that, Julie, but would love to hear anything else that any of you all would like to share about really what drew you in. And then my final question, and again, you don't have to answer all of these, answer whatever you like, is when we several of you talked about holding owners accountable. And does that look like to you about how workers are treated? Are there additional things that you would like us to include in terms of requirements around nursing home owners? So those were a couple of the questions that I wanted to ask based on your comments.
Julie, I wondered if you'd take the first one, because I know that you started as a CNA and then became an LPN. So this question of pipeline and what keeps people in, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts on that.
I was 15 when I knew I wanted to be a nurse. My hairdresser at the time was a nurse, and she was talking to me about how much she loved her job and how just taking care of people, and I remember her with her white hat and her white dress. And I was like, oh, I enjoy helping people. That's something that I would want to do. And of course, life gets in the way. So by the time I got around to that, being a certified nursing assistant, I think I was 31, 32. And one of our corporate people, we were there, she was in the building for mock survey, and she was watching me with my residents, she said, and she pulled me aside and she said, "You need to go to nursing school." And I went to nursing school and became an LPN, and I love it. I love what I do. I love my residents. Through the good and the bad, all these years, there's nothing. I made the comment yesterday. I probably dropped dead at work, because I love what I do. I love my residents. I love bringing a smile to their face and knowing that yes, your family can't be there every day to see you, but at least I can. And they become your family. You're taught in nursing school. I'll never forget. Don't get too attached. How can you not? You fall in love with these people. I remember people from when I was a CNA, and they just touch your heart. And hopefully we're touching theirs.
So thank you, Julie. And I would just add to that, I think that pipeline programs that enable dietary workers and housekeepers to study to become nurses' aides to become LPNs to become RNs, and to do that while still earning a living, since most nursing home workers can't afford to take a leave to go to school, are critical to capturing the talent of people who've already committed to doing this kind of work. But Tamara, I see you want to get in this conversation, please. And I think you're on mute.
Yes, I do. But let me start by saying, I, as an earlier child, before I knew what a CNA was, before I knew what a health worker was, I was taking care of the seniors in my neighborhood, going to the store for them, helping them prepare meals, sitting with them and talking with them. So this is a part of me. I don't think I can consider this as a job. This is who God made me to be. This is my purpose. I do believe in life. But when we look at holding nursing home owners accountable, there are so many things that are out of whack. But when the state comes in the building, everything is in perfect order. So if you can put your nursing home together to show off for the state, the nursing homes, they won't pay the CNAs proper care, but they will pay an agency double what they're paying their CNAs to come in and work right next to a CNA. They'll pay a nurse twice as what the nurse make to come in and work. So when you look at holding nursing home accountable, there is revenue for this to be done. There is revenue for us to make more money, but they're pocketing the money. When you look at how the residents are being treated, the meals that they are being fed, when you go back even to the linen, nursing home owners, they're short staffing. There's one housekeeper per shift. We have no linen on. I wish I can show you the picture that I had on midnight shifts. We may have 4 towels, 2 rags, and a whole bunch of wipes. And this is what we have to care for the residents. So we have to use our mind and create other ways of taking care of a resident. Sometimes we have to spend our own money, but the revenue is there. Because like I said, when the state comes into the building, you find new linen that's been stored up. You find more staff that they bring on, and they hire people just for this reason and this reason alone. They need to be held accountable for the actions that they take. This is not, I work for a corporation that's, I can't even say the name, but it's a financial corporation. And when you look at stuff like this, it's not about the money, it's about the care. And they need to be held accountable for what the actions that they take. The revenue is there. And, and when I look at it, when CNAs, when we're short staffed, and they don't, that money stays in the pool. They'll work us short, but they won't give us a bonus. At my job, they'll give us a bonus, but if you get sick or you miss a day in that pay period, they snatch it right back away. So it's like you never had it. So when a resident goes to the hospital, or when a resident goes home with the family, there is revenue still there that could be used for other purpose. But out of greed, nursing home owners, I feel, are pocketing the money.
Thank you so much, Tamara, for addressing the accountability question. Barbara or Adelina, do either of you have something to add to the questions that the administrator asked?
I can add.
Go ahead.
Hi, so I decided to become a CNA, not a CNA, but I wanted to be a nurse since I was 8. I used to see my aunt back home. She was a nurse, so I wanted to be a nurse when I grow older. So I still haven't gone back to school to be a nurse. So I'm a CNA, so I love my job. And also holding the the owners accountable. Like she said, like we do work short all the time, and when they have the surveys, that's when the schedule looks good and the floor looks good, and all the management come out their office and help us on the floors. And when there's no survey and we call for help, oh, nobody has time to come in and help. And they all have jobs to do, but all of a sudden, like when surveys are in, oh, everybody, it's hands-on, like we're a team. And also, like I personally believe if they are open 7 days a week, nursing homes, and we, the nursing staff, have to work on the weekends, why don't we have management on the weekends? Because the managements, they work Monday to Friday. And when we work on the weekends, that's like when we're shorter the most. And that's when we get more visitors coming in. The family members, they come to visit mostly on the weekends, especially like first shift and second shift. So when they come visit their loved ones on the weekends, the nurses, our regular nurses, they're the ones who are the management. They were the ones that are the supervisors. So imagine if they have to take care of 33 patients, and they also in charge to do 3 extra jobs, because they also are the supervisor for the whole entire building. And if there's any issues, they have to leave their floor and go on another floor to deal with the issues. So that being said, their patients are not being attended while they're gone. And so they have to deal with the other issues that the family members have concern. And they also, if people called in sick on that weekend, they're the ones that have to find the replacement. They have to, stop what they're doing to call in people to see if people can come into work. That's a lot for them too. And which is a thing that I never understood, why there's no management. They cannot work like every
Seems like Adelina may be having an internet problem. Hopefully we'll get her back, but I want to just give Barbara a chance to jump in here and then give it back to you, Administrator Brooks-Lazur. Hopefully we'll get Adelina back in a minute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with everyone when they're saying hold the owners accountable, because it's unfortunate, that we're not holding them accountable enough, and that the residents are the ones who are suffering. And back in, my day, I'm not going to tell you my age, because God gave me a couple of passes during the pandemic. He said, you don't have to be, you can go back 2-3 years. So I said, I'll take it, so I'm a little younger. But it used to be candy scrapers, as we remember, that they used to have candy scrapers in the nursing homes. They used to come in, the high school kids, even the high school kids used to come in and do activities that, they got on the job training as a path into the healthcare field, to start to transition into that. And then they got to be able to have conversations, and the seniors got to be able to feel, the community, know what's going on in the community. The bridge was built with the community and the nursing home. You don't have that no more. It's more of like a prison. The only thing is that they're not getting the funding like the prison does. They have the rooms, they have the doors, they have the numbers, they're just not getting what the funding should be for them. And they should have the dignity and respect. And I just want them to, just be able to have that. and just, build that bridge back, get the people back into this position, and let us be able to establish them as human beings. Not much, just human beings, not prisoners on a daily basis that, just here until they die. They deserve better than that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara, for underscoring the fact that nursing homes should be part of the community, the fundamental dignity of our residents, but also the need for reimbursement rates to be sufficient to fund the quality of care that residents deserve. Administrator Brooks-Lazur?
Thank you all so much for your perspectives. And as I said at the beginning, I really want you to know that we are hearing and really want to incorporate so many of the things that you're raising with us into our nursing home strategy, where really this is such a priority. And I saw it in your video of the president. This is a priority for him and for his team of really and it comes from his own personal experience, right, of his engagement with the healthcare industry. And certainly, as you were talking, Barbara, I was thinking of my own childhood of going to nursing homes as a kid, and that level of engagement, and just how important that we not forget the people who are in homes or those who are caring for them, as we really try to lift up in our health equity strategy, making sure that we're lifting up every part of our underserved population. So this is not the last conversation we're going to have. We're going to continue to engage, but really appreciate everything that we've heard today in terms of your personal experiences. And thank you again for sharing some very specific and actionable things for us to work on.
So thank you, Administrator Brooks-Lazur. We were going to close with a round of asking each of the workers to share their vision of what the nursing home could be like if we address the staffing crisis, if we address the accountability crisis, if we address the reimbursement crisis, if we addressed the enforcement crisis. And I don't think we have going to have time to hear from everybody, but Adelina, since you got cut off before, I wondered if you'd like to share your vision, and maybe we can close out with that.
My vision would be that the staff ratio is accurate for the nursing staff in the nursing home, so we can give better care and better quality care to our residents. And also that, the management have to be held accountable for it, like I said before. I don't know if you heard the last part I said, just like us, we have to be there every other weekend. I wish the management are in there too, every other weekend, because they taken away nurses for giving care to the residents, for them to deal with other, issues that comes up, that they should be giving the patients the care that they deserve instead of dealing with issues that's part of management. And also I would like them to be more hands-on, and for them to listen to our concerns, and for us to be part of the conversation and the vision, how the nursing homes and how our patients, the quality care that they deserve and need to look like. It's not just like when we give them our concerns and they just like look at us like, oh, we don't know what we're talking about, and ignore us. And we're tired of being ignored, and we want to be part of conversation. And we also we need a better pay. And also, these CEOs, they save money on short staffing, because they keep that money at the end of the year. They get big bonuses for themselves while we're working short all the time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adelina. I think Adelina made many important points, but this idea of nursing home workers having a seat at the table, having a voice, is critically important. And that is one of the reasons why we were thrilled that the President's initiative talks about creating a path to union. And again, look forward to partnering with you and your team, Administrator Brooks-Lazur, on the specifics of how do we build the rules, the regulations, if necessary, the legislation to make sure that the vision that Adelina and Tamara and Barbara and Julie described can be realized. It starts with dignity for the residents, and it requires adequate staffing, and it requires good jobs, both because workers deserve them, but also because unless we improve the quality of jobs, we're never going to have the staff that are necessary to provide the quality of care that residents deserve. So with that, I'll kick it back to you if you have any closing comments.
Well, I think the president is fond of saying how much he is a supporter of of making sure that that unions are a part of our system, and so appreciate really all the work that SEIU is doing to elevate these issues and to make sure that that voices are heard. And we certainly are committed as an administration to making sure that your voices are heard and part of our process. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time and listening to us and talking with us today. We're incredibly grateful.